Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Center, and welcome. I'm the author of two books. One, Rebuild Your Brain, Stop the Damage, Start the Repair. Great read on how our brains degenerate and what we can do to help them. And then the one I came out with last year, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie, and this is basically how these hidden blood sugar imbalances create so many different problems in people's health nowadays. So welcome, and for all those that are listening out there, go ahead and put down below where you're listening in from. Love to hear where everybody is calling in from, listening from, giving their comments from. But if you have any questions, any comments throughout this video, go ahead and shoot those over. Or if you're watching it later, shoot them over as well, and we answer even weeks out after the video. So welcome, and today I want to go over something that is just really prevalent and what we're seeing all the time, especially as kids go back to school. People go back to work, all these things, and what we're hearing in the mainstream media is not what we really need to be doing to help our bodies and to be as strong as we possibly can, but what it's doing is telling us what we shouldn't do, what we should stay away from, things like that. So the common things we're hearing are what, right? Wear a mask, social distance. You got to be, even in Europe, they've got this 6-foot song. It's actually 2-meter song, but it's like 2 meters for the kids to sing. And I always wonder, like, where did 6 feet come from? Why is it 5 feet or 7 feet or 8 feet, whatever it is? So we look at that, and then they talk about washing your hands and these things that we shouldn't be doing, and we should stay away from some of these. Hey Sylvia, good to see you out there. How are you doing? Stephen, good to see you as well. So again, if you guys have not liked or followed our page already, go ahead and do that. And then tell us where you're watching from. Love to get those comments as well. So again, this is what we're being told all the time. Wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, but that's all they're talking about. Sure, that may block a little bit of the germ getting on us, but it's doing nothing to help our bodies create this state where we can fight off and be in a better position to handle whatever is coming at us. And that's the big thing that I want to go over today. I'm going to give you some usable things that you can do today, now, to help your immune system, whether that's to boost it, to get it cranking, whatever you need to do. I'm going to give you these tools today. So we're not just going to be able to sit back and go, oh, I wear a mask, or I wash my hands, or I do some of these things. Yes, that's going to block some of the germs, but that's going to do nothing for your immune system. There was just a video I was watching this morning. It was actually on CNN, and they were talking about the comorbidities and the cofactors that, you know, it's crazy when you start looking at the number of people that have died with COVID and what's actually going on with that. So some of the things we're looking at, only 3% of and I'll review some of these stats later in another video, but only 3% of the population under 40 has died with COVID. Pretty amazing. 97% of the people that have died with COVID are over 40 years of age. But that really interesting one, that 25% of the people that have passed away in the United States with COVID are African American. And why? Because they've got a lot more cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, a lot of different things through there. So I'll be hitting some other stats this week that are just pretty fascinating, so look out for that video. So here we go. Number one thing that you can do right now to help your immune system and to get things cranking, to fight off as much as possible. Number one is going to be to exercise. Exercise daily, whether that's going for a brisk walk, whether that's doing some cardiovascular on a stationary bike, going up and down stairs, doing weights, doing push-ups against the wall, a lot of different tools that you have at your disposal. Research shows that as people age, their immune system decreases and it loses its effectiveness. One study showed that for older people that exercise daily and regularly like that, they were able to slow down that decline of their immune system. We've also seen studies where if you do a exercise boost like that, it's going to bump up that antiviral activity, where they were looking at regular cold, flu, coronaviruses, other things, and it can be applied to COVID as well. So you've got to get that exercise cranking on a daily basis. Well, another one I did a video on a couple weeks ago, but this is huge and a lot of people don't think about. They just think about wearing a mask. But what happens when you're out, because I've got a buff that counts, and I went up to my son the other day and I said, hey, can you feel this? I breathed through it, and it was like he felt this huge wind blowing right on him. So germs can come in and out of almost all masks out there. But what happens then is it gets into the nasal passage, it gets into our mouth, and if you're out and about, if you're working, if you're into a grocery store, anything like that, when you get home, sinus irrigation is huge. So you can do a neti pot, you can do the Nelly Med, anything like that to get that flow going through there, and that can really make a big difference. Also do some mouthwash. So if you want to go with like some hardcore stuff, you can do the Listerine. But if you want to go more natural, there are natural ways that you can go about doing that as well. So doing some mouthwash and doing some sinus or nasal irrigation is going to be huge to kill off the germs after you've been out in public, if you're worried about your immune system being able to fight these off. And if you got those comorbidities of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, prediabetes, being overweight or obese, high blood pressure, cancer, lung disease, any of those type of things, you definitely want to make sure that you're doing all these things, because remember, 80% of the United States population is insulin resistant, 70% is overweight or obese, 60% is pre-diabetic or diabetic. So almost everybody you know out there has some type of cofactor, and that's the number one reason why we have such poor outcomes in the United States compared to a lot of different places. So exercise, sinus irrigation, mouthwash, and then sleep is going to be crucial. You've got to get that quality sleep. That's going to be huge for your immune system. If you're not sleeping well, your immune system is not functioning well. That's just the only way that you can look at it. So you've got to get that quality sleep. Turn off your devices, turn off your iPad, your phone, Facebook, whatever it is, at least an hour before bed. Use, like this back here, we've got the salt lamp back in the corner. Use that salt lamp. It's got that orange reddish glow that helps calm the brain down. You don't want the blue light from your devices, and you've got to keep that as calm as possible. So get that quality sleep. Hey Heather, good to see you. I hope you're doing well out there. Stress. Managing your stress is huge. We all have stressors, jobs and cars and kids and COVID and presidents and whatever you want to stress about, you can stress out there. But ultimately, dealing with that stress, managing that stress, that's why we do brain map and why we look at neurofeedback. That's why we talk about breathing exercises, calming techniques. Anything and everything that you can do to calm your brain down is going to be crucial, because we know elevated stress, when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're worried, that decreases the immune response for actually up to 24 hours for some people, with as stressful as it gets in there. So you've got to calm down that stressful state. Number 5, we look at sugar and we look at balancing blood sugar, and we know that every time somebody eats something that spikes up and causes this blood sugar spike, we are going to have a decreased immune response for at least 4 hours, if not up to 16 or 20 hours, the research shows. So we've got to stabilize our blood sugar. We've got to keep that as consistent as possible. That's what I talk about in my second book, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie. We talk specifically in there about how to monitor that, and that's how we're able to reverse diabetes, and we're able to see these changes where people's diabetes in a matter of weeks reverses and goes away, and they will never have to be diabetic again. It's amazing the things that we can see change, and not just diabetes, but people that are crashing. I had a guy last week, full-blown fatty liver. He's not diabetic, but his blood sugar is swinging all over the place. Huge part of it, we've got to stabilize that blood sugar. You cannot be out drinking sodas, eating things that convert into sugar. That is going to decrease that immune response. So you've got to keep that blood sugar stabilizes. Meat, vegetables, good fats, low glycemic fruits, good places to start, but that's why we use the blood sugar monitor. So you poke that finger, you check it, and you know exactly what to do. All right, then we look at some different herbs that are helpful for helping fight off viruses, but helping that immune system as well. One of the number one things that you can do is echinacea. Echinacea you don't want to do forever, but you're going to be able to do that short term. You're going to be able to do that for 2, 3, 4 weeks and then come off of it. So especially if you get exposed to people that have flu, COVID, cold, anything along those lines, you want to go ahead and boost that immune system for a little bit. Just like vitamin D, short term, you're going to do a high dose to boost in there. Elderberry, you can do elderberry syrup, you can do it in pill form, but elderberry, you can do that one more long term, is going to be great for immune system and for fighting off some of these viruses. Garlic, remember, if you're going to be eating garlic, everybody around you needs to be eating garlic. Otherwise, you'll be having some problems. Give me a thumbs up if everybody knows what I'm talking about out there. So if you're having garlic, you can do it. There's odorless pill form. You can eat just garlic by itself. You can take it in powder form, whatever way. But garlic is huge for antiviral and for that immune system. Oregano, another herb, is going to be very, very good. You can do it in gel caps, you can do it in drops, you can do it in, we use this big pill that's time released, it gets into the digestive tract more. So those are all herbs that are going to be really helpful for boosting your immune system and fighting off viruses. And then number 7, a lot of you may not be happy to hear this out there, especially with the whole COVID lockdown. A lot of people were drinking more alcohol, but limit the amount of alcohol, because we know alcohol decreases that immune response. Research shows this over and over and over. If you have more than just maybe half a glass of wine or just a little bit of wine, your immune system is going to be depleted. And so a lot of people were drinking at noon every day and they were stuck home and they're like, well, I might as well have a beer or whatever it is. Alcohol decreases the immune response and it decreases your body's ability to handle stress and manage those changes. So again, let's go through these. Exercise, one of the first things, do it today. Get up, move, do some push-ups, do some whatever you can do to get movement. You've got to get that exercise going. Sinus irrigation and mouth rinse. Anytime you come back home from being at work, from being out at the grocery store, masks, sure, they prevent from this huge sneeze spray on somebody, but masks are still going to be able to have that perforation going where the germs and everything are coming back and forth. So you've got to know that germs are getting in regardless of whether you're wearing a mask. Most people assume that mask is protecting them, not very well at all. So you've got to do things, and a lot of the coronaviruses will settle into the nose and mouth. Got to rinse those out, get that quality sleep, decrease the stress, manage your stress better. Balance your blood sugar. You got to keep that consistent. I've got tons of videos out there on this. Herbs, echinacea, elderberry, garlic, oregano, and then we've got to limit our alcohol. A lot of you don't like that one. I didn't even go to coffee, but I figured I'd get hate mail if I did that one. So we are hearing these things all the time that mainstream media says, oh, all you need to do is wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance, but that is doing nothing for your immune system. That is doing nothing for what truly can fight this off, because remember, I say this all the time, it's not about the germs, it's about the terrain. And the terrain is what's going to keep the germs at bay. It's going to be what is fighting it off. Hey Jesse, good to see you down there in Phoenix. Hope things are well at our Phoenix satellite down there. It is all about building up our system as much as feasibly possible. Whether it's this virus or next year a bacteria comes out or there's another virus or whatever it is, we've got to do everything in our power to be as strong as possible. And we know what is causing these problems with people. And this is why a lot of people, they're going to have cardiovascular disease, heart disease, cancer, all these things, and they die slowly. A lot of people, though, that have those, this is kind of speeding up their process and speeding up their illness or death or whatever it is. But it's still the underlying same issues that we're talking about, this inflammatory state that kicks in, and we go from there. So hope this helped today, guys, and hope you guys stay strong. More than anything, you've got to stay strong and keep your body fighting as well as it possibly can, because sure, these washing hands and social distancing and some of those things may keep some germs away, but remember, viruses are everywhere, germs are everywhere. We will get exposed. If you keep living in this country, in this world, you will get exposed to COVID, and your body needs to be able to fight it off no matter what level of exposure you get. You've still got to be strong enough to fight it off. So hope you guys have a great day, great week, and stay strong out there.